What up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. Today we have Alex, who placed 10th place at the most recent Zenkai Cup, playing Dende. What's up, Alex?
Hey, nothing much, just big chillin'. How about you?
Big chillin' as well. So let's talk about this deck. People probably aren't familiar with anything that this deck's trying to do. So why don't you go ahead and explain that for us?
No, yeah, I feel you with that. I want to say for the last two Zenkai Cups I played, I want to say how many games did I play? 14. I want to say 12 of my opponents said, "Can you read your leader?" I have no idea what it does.
Nice.
So I feel you with that. Now it's a basic wish leader on the front. It does have one little clause in there where you can't include extra cards with cost 4 or more in your deck. So I caught myself cheating with this leader when I first started playing it because I put Tragedy Overground in here.
Yep, that would not be
but
allowed. That is an
but
extra card that costs more than four.
but reading helps
Yeah,
understand stuff.
reading
So
reading the cards explain the cards.
exactly. So reading a card, it just activate main burst two, and then you search your deck under life for up to 2 Dragon Balls and add them to your hand. Dragon Balls just simply draw you a card, and then uh, wish when 7 or more in your drop area, you add up to 1 Desires card from your drop to your hand, and then you flip it over.
So you don't untap, you don't draw. When you awaken, you simply get your desire back from the drop. All right.
Yes, exactly. But that is fine in this deck because we'll go over it later, but a good thing to do in this deck actually is to burst to the desire card off the top within the first like 2 or 3 turns when you're getting your balls, because then you can just get it back for free.
Okay.
Um, so then the other side of the leader, he has 3 effects. Activate main, choose one. You either draw one card, you either choose one blue or black desire card in your hand with energy cost less than or equal to your currently energy, and you activate its activate main skill. And yeah, your target's assembling the squad, nothing else. We'll go over that in a minute. And then his other wish effect is remove 7 Dragon Ball cards in your drop area from the game. If you do, you untap 2 and you draw 2, and then you flip your leader at the end of the turn. And because your Dragon Balls are gone, you can no longer awaken. But we have ways of not worrying about that.
Flipping your leader over doesn't seem good, but I'm excited to hear how you mitigate that drawback.
For sure. So,
You want to just go card by card, or do you want to explain Majin to Fire first, since she's kind of
um, we'll go through the first 3 sets of cards. So, like, the Dragon Balls are very simple.
yeah.
They're like, obviously you need these in the deck in order to do anything. You search them, they just draw one card. In this deck, you kind of need to mulligan until you hope you see one. You only need to see one Dragon Ball. Like within your opening hand or your first 3 turns bursting one. That's it. That way you can awaken by turn 3, which I never had an issue with. You just draw so much in this deck, you're bound to see one of them
So you
either
don't
bursted or
need to
drawn.
awaken until 3 most of the time.
You don't need to.
Cool.
You don't need to. Awakening on 2 definitely is better, but you can manage waiting till 3.
And I noticed you're at a
Um,
60 card list here. Is that because you're bursting cards and drawing a bunch of cards with your Dragon Balls?
yes. I played this at 55 for a while, and I decked out so many times. So I just said, I don't care. I'm going to 60, and it was the correct call.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Now, the next card is Majin Defire West Supreme Kai. To simplify her, she's a barrier energy battle card. You can tap her for anything when it comes to an energy. Now, there was a ruling before that Wrights had mentioned to me. Reitz, sorry, Robert Reitz. He mentioned it to me within the first Zenkai Cup I played, where you couldn't apparently tap this for skill cost, but the judge confirmed that that was not the case. So this can be tapped for anything.
Okay, so
So
originally, if it was like you couldn't tap it for the extra one on Dirty Burst, for example.
no, but the judge got back to me after, like two games later. It didn't matter the ruling during that game because I was tapping for something else.
Yeah.
I was tapping for a golden Avenger, so I wasn't paying a skill cost. I was just doing the counter.
Mm-hmm.
Um, or the counterplay. But yeah, this can tap for anything, he said. So it's
Cool.
literally just an energy while on the board. Obviously, you tap it into rest mode when you're using it as the energy. So you got to make sure that you have stuff to back it up and defend it because it is a 5K weenie.
So we're gonna absolute staple that one.
Yes. And then
so
assembling the squad.
so you're
The
using
card that
this to get out your Kai?
Yes. So activate main if your leader is a Shenron card. Choose one battle card from your deck with an deck, specifically deck, with an energy cost of 2 or less and 15k power or less. Play it, then shuffle your deck. So this cheats out Majin of Fire. So, with the leader, yes, you don't untap one, but you can activate main, free put another energy for you to be using later in the game, which in my opinion I think is better.
Okay.
I can have that energy if God forbid I need it that turn. Hopefully I don't, but I will have the energy, and then if it makes it, now I'm going to like 4 energy the next turn, or maybe even 5, depending on when I'm doing this.
So on
Because
an
on
ideal turn 2, you're saying you can activate one of these and then activate a second copy for free.
That's if I can awaken turn 2. You got to see like
True.
a ton of balls in hand to do that. That's mostly turn 2 is you want to either play a Kai, hardcast it, or
Okay.
play it with assembling the squad, and then turn 3 you're awakening, where you definitely want a squad in the drop area by then, so that you can add it back and then just activate it for free. Now you have 3 real energy and you have 2 Kais on the board, so you have 5 energy playing. And if you one die roll, that means your opponent's at 2 while you're at 5. And 5 energy up can mean whatever you need. Bunison, ready to rumble, tap 3 for heroic prospect. It it's just a lot of energy to play with while they don't have a lot. And then the next turn, you're charging one, you're going to 6, and everyone knows the best blue card right now that costs 6. So
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
and
Okay.
that happened every game that it could have.
So I know we're skipping ahead a little, but this is the heart and soul of the deck. This is your win condition more or less.
Yeah, it's not like the win-win condition because I have one without playing the card, but it definitely is like the if I play it, I more than likely will win.
Okay, so
I did lose
it's
a
the
couple games that
primary
I played it.
enabler of the deck.
Yeah,
Got it.
exactly.
All right. Do you want to save this for when we talk about your techs, and then we'll talk about the good stuff first?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right.
So obviously, we're a defensive deck. This deck is super defensive. Like I don't normally play super defensive decks. I play more mid range, but like this deck is mega defense. So you play 4 of these just because it's a 10k combo, draws you a card on your opponent's turn. Bottom deck's a 2 or less. So if they, played I played against a few 16 decks over the last 2 weekends. So it got rid of the Frieza Z card pretty easily. Some of their 10k combos that were on the board. It just removes bodies. And then I did play against a Gotenks player the first weekend where I was just using it aggro. I was swinging at his unison with I swung at his unison with like a token, and then I just Beerus Realm to get rid of his 6 drop. Like
Amazing.
this card is just so good in this deck, it's ridiculous.
Versatile
And
and replaces itself on defense.
exactly,
What
like you
more could
couldn't
you ask
really ask
for?
for more.
Yeah. All right.
And then you have UI Kamehameha again, just more defense. 15k. Typically, never used it on my turn unless I really needed to push something. Um, it's mostly just for the opponent's turn. It's a free 15k.
Free
So I mean,
defense.
exactly.
Sounds about right. We'll say. I mean, we could talk about it.
I mean, the one dirty burst is the one dirty burst.
Yeah.
It's a hard
People know
negate,
what's up with
or
that.
it's a hard negate or a counterplay. Stop 7 or less from swinging for the turn. I mean,
7 or more.
what's more to say with that? And then, yes, sensu bean. I used to play this card at 2, but up to 3 is definitely the correct move, as you helped me see. It's eroded, so it's only on your opponent's turn, but that's fine in this deck because you just going to 20k against some of the low wide decks, or if you have multiples of these in your hand, going to 25k is insane. But the real great thing about this card is being on 1 energy, and your opponent attacking with like a 30k, and you're able to go, okay, I'm 20, and now I have Beerus Realms that I can use now because you're untapping too. So it just enables a lot more defense,
Gives
which
you
is
extra energy to
why
play
that's so
with,
pretty.
basically.
Exactly. Speaking of extra energy, Dimension Magic.
And
Everyone knows this card. It's just negate the attack,
since
untap
you're a Shenron
2 of
deck,
your energy.
that sparking 5, you're getting that turn 2 at the latest.
Um, a lot of my games I got at turn 1, actually, majority of them. No, every game, because you want to see one ball in hand, so you're hard mulling for the ball. I don't think I've ever opened one game where no, I did open one
All
game where I
right.
didn't have a ball, but if you have one ball in hand, you just go ball. That's one card. Draw one. Burst 2. Activate 2 more balls. Congratulations, you have sparking for D Magic now.
So
So,
you're never taking early crit.
oh, never.
That's
No, not if I
amazing.
can help
That's
it.
amazing.
And then Chilled's Army. I mean, it's just again, quote unquote sparking negate. Take a life free, put up a blocker. I hard tap two for this, probably 50-50 if I hard tapped or took the life for it.
Okay. And in general, I think if you're not running like three of these in your decks, something's wrong. Like every deck.
In this format, yes. Last format I ran, like, I hated running them
Well,
because
yeah,
Sin
against
was all around.
Sin
But
format and Rush Attack Vegeta format, it was rough.
yeah. This super combo is the correct super combo. One of my buddies who was playing this tried Zeno super combo, but it just isn't as good as this one because the desire card. Assembling the squad only plays the Majin from deck. So if you get them in your hand, too many of them, you can just shotgun a super combo, bottom deck the Defier, draw two, activate main, activate the assembling the squad, put a free energy on the board, and you drew two cards.
So you can
And got a
ramp
Z
later
energy.
in the game, even if you
Exactly. So
feel
it's
like
like,
you've drawn into all your Majins.
yeah, and this isn't a conventional deck where you save your like I told you, right? We play more defense,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't need to really save quote unquote my super combos most of the time. I can shotgun them and then I'll have all the negates to back them up or sensu beams and UI Kamehamehas. So I tend to shotgun one, two, maybe even three of these early in the game to put those defiers to the bottom of my deck to get them out for free.
Also, I noticed you don't have a lot of ways to generate Z energy, so I'm assuming that's
That's like, yeah. My Z energy is very scarce in this deck. I only play like maybe one Z battle card a game. If I'm lucky, I'll play two.
um. And then you said that you're shotgunning these early games, so I'm assuming you have a way to end the game without needing your super combos. So we'll
Oh,
hear about that later.
yeah. This is yeah, degenerate way to end the game. But yes, I can tell you every time I ended the game the way that I want to end the game, my opponents didn't enjoy it. I didn't get one GG after I ended the games the way I
Not a
wanted to.
single GG. That's unbelievable.
Well, I got one guy that said yeah GG and then left the call, but he said it with like a sarcastic tone. I mean, no one enjoyed playing against it. It was like you said, because you played against the deck. It's
Yeah.
degenerate.
It's
You know
it's
what
not
comes up.
fun. It shouldn't exist. But that's why we're doing this deck profile. So then I do something about this shit. Uh,
So Heroic Prospect is in here at 3 because one, it's a 0-5K,
okay.
so I can combo it. Two, if Bunison's on the board, it's a 1 cost. But I mean, early game, I in fact do hard tap 3 for this sometimes. I want to say like probably 40% of the time I can go for this on a one. Okay, so I tap 2, play a Majin Defier, sparking D Magic, tap 3 Prospect. That stops a lot of decks because a lot of stuff cheats out higher than their energy at that point. They only have 2 energy typically. That they're playing Piccolo the Infiltrator, they can't attack with it. If they're playing Red SS4, everything's a 4 cost. If they're playing like Android 16 or Go Tanks or Trunks Jita, everything's like 3 cost or higher. So hard tapping 3 for this on like when you're ramped up to turn to your 3 energy and they're at 2, it really stops their turn.
Okay, so even though it seems like it would be matchup dependent, every deck's kind of doing the same thing where you're cheating out big battle cards. So
Yeah,
it's
and
relevant.
and it's very relevant because of that. And I mean, if you do hard tap 3 for it, they can't hit it with desperate measures in blue, so there's that.
That's really good because Desperate Measures is making its way into the meta once again.
Yes, so that card gets around it when you hard tap for it.
Now, this card is
Oh
my
man.
least favorite part of the deck. I will tell you. Like, the rest of the stuff is annoying and all, but, like, this is the card that makes it so annoying.
No, yeah, this card's degenerate in this deck. Like this card's probably the best card in this deck. And that's because it happened a few times where if I open say I open 2 balls and I burst one, right? That's 3 balls gone. That means I'm awakening on turn 2.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm awakening on turn 2 and I have the Black Desire card in my hand, I'm getting to 2 Kais that are standing and 2 rested energy. I'm sparking, demagicking, putting myself to 4, and rumbling you while you have 2 energy. So your turn's over. You're not going to continue playing for that turn. Now, when that's happened, now it goes to my next turn. And if I have another assembling the squad in my hand, I'm charging in energy. I'm activating squad, and I'm playing Vegeta 6 while you have 2 energy.
Not to mention, this doesn't just stop battle card attacks or whatever. This stops every attack. Like,
Everything.
any card that
So,
wants to attack is costs an energy to
so
attack.
yeah, I've heard many people hate this card and say this card needs hit da da da. If this card gets touched in any way, I mean, it probably just changes. I don't know, change it to like say battle or unisons. That way the leader can at least swing through. You know what I mean? But no, this card stops anything. And in this deck, being able to throw it down on your opponent on your opponent's 2 energy is absolutely ridiculous.
Now, I don't think this card would be what gets addressed for blue, just
No,
based on
it's
like the fact that Beerus doesn't run it as well. I'm
no,
sure if
yeah.
they
There's a
hit
different
blue,
card
it's
that
gonna be yeah.
there's a different card that'll get touched. We'll get to that in a second. Not this one though. You guys are dumb. This card doesn't need hit. There's so many answers to this card. I played Bunison not as often as I used to because um I played against, like I said, I played against like 316 decks within the last 2 weekends. Two of them were last Zenkai Cup, and I think I played it against one of them, and I was like terrified to because Gohan SGR exists, right? Isn't that just tap 1 green energy? I might be an idiot. You might have to be a green leader for that, but I'm not sure. I don't pay attention. I just know that card terrifies me. But Beast Gohan bounces it off the board. The green Gohan SGR just deletes it on one attack. Like this card's so scary to play right now because blue is so popular that like I was charging most of them. But
Yeah.
I mean, it's really good. It makes Prospect one. It draws a card. It's a blocker, double strike, restand and energy, restand itself. Like it's a unit. This thing does your taxes. So I mean, when it does hit the board against certain decks, it's like they cry. So it's like you gotta like include it in your blue decks, in
The
my
thing
opinion.
I've said about Boo that I feel like annoys players a lot since the start of Boo being relevant is that even if it doesn't swing the game significantly, it's still gonna buy you a turn of them trying to deal with it.
Yeah, because being able to block so in this deck it's even more degenerate. Like if I get this out on the field and I rumble you afterwards, like say a turn later or something, now you have to deal with a bottom deck, and other possible negates while you're under ready to rumble.
Yeah.
That's what like has had gave me so many games because opponents would look at my board and they would see rumble, Boonison, and energy up, and they're just like, well, I can't do anything because I'm gonna lose all my energy if I do. So.
So you're saying would you in this meta, do you think it's safe to just like play Boo pass if you have no backup outside of Boo?
Dude, it's like if your only play is Boo Pass and you don't have a Ready to Rumble or a Prospect in your hand, you kind of have to Boo Pass. But like I've Boo Passed before, and they just go, okay, Beast Gohan,
Yeah.
and then it's back in my hand, and it's just like, well,
Doesn't feel good at all.
yeah, it's just like, okay, I tapped 3 for nothing, quote unquote 3 because it untaps one.
Gotcha.
Um, but it's like I could have just left it up for like UI Kamehamehas or some crap. But it's just like, I mean, it depends on the deck. Now you go up against red, you go up against black, they're gonna cry against Boonison.
Yeah.
That's when it's like degenerate. Like
And the card
I
is
played against
strong enough in those matchups to warrant running it at 4, even if it might not be the best against green.
oh no, yeah, like I played against a master reboot player, and like I said, squad on if I go squad, I can start getting energy faster. I think I won die roll against him too, if I'm not mistaken. So I had Boonison up while I think he was at 2 energy, and he couldn't even counterplay because black, black doesn't have good counterplays. So he was like, I went like assembling the squad, play Majin Fire. He's like super Kamehameha. I'm like, I'm sorry, you're at 5 life.
Amazing.
So it's like he couldn't do it, and he's like, oh yeah. And then I'm like, yeah, awaken, activate again, free play another one. And then the next turn I went D Magic, Sparking, ready to rumble. He couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
So
Blue just has so many
it's
tools.
GG's to him. He got fourth, I think. Did he not? The
Oh,
Master Reboot
nice.
player. I think he got fourth. I was his only loss, but
Oh, wow.
but yeah, no, he did very well. Okay, so why are we skipping here? We have other cards.
Because these are like techie. We'll talk about them after.
No, okay, so yeah, Vegeta 6. This card is absurd in the meta right now because God Seal is gone. So it's funny to say that God Seal being banned made blue better. It's so weird that I feel that way.
No, you're
Because now
right.
that God Seal is gone, you can play blue slap Vegeta 6 on the board, and you'll look at them and be like, okay, yeah, you're good. You'll see in the back, in the pocket right here, right, the Golden Avenger. I did not want to play Golden Avenger in this deck because I don't care to counter you. I kept it in this deck to counterplay this guy.
It's Blue's
I
only
only kept it
answer,
in.
right?
Yeah, I literally kept it in the deck to counterplay. I counterplayed 2 Vegeta 6s and won the game off it
Yeah.
because one of them was in the first Zenkai Cup 2 weeks ago, and the guy went, I just charged one and I passed. He's like, oh, you're just passing? I'm like, yeah, I don't have anything to do this turn. He's like, okay, so he goes to his turn, he charges. He's like, yeah, tap 6 Vegeta 6. I'm like, okay, tap 5 Golden Avenger. He's like, shit, I forgot that's a counterplay too. I'm like, how do you forget that's a counterplay? You're playing blue. But anyway, it hit back to his hand and he lost the game because the next turn I went, yeah, Vegeta 6. And then from there, I catapulted into the energy race.
Yeah, the blue
So it was
mirror
just,
right now feels like a ramp race.
oh, it's who can ramp faster and then who has more Golden Avengers. Like that's
And
literally how. Like I'm not even joking.
I feel like that's why Beerus might like this deck will surprise people, but I think Beerus is just better into blue because
This deck,
you
this
literally
deck
can
does
just
good.
tap 16.
Yeah, exactly. That's the issue that I have. It's like I have a decent matchup into Beers, but Beers terrifies me solely because they can tap 16. We can go back to Cunning now too if you want. That's the
Yeah.
only reason I'm playing one Cunning. I'm playing one Cunning because I played against Legends in the first Zenkai Cup, and I played him in like round 5 or 6, and I lost to myself. He even said it after the game. He's like, dude, if you played Energy Annihilator Goku, you won the game. I'm like, well, I was playing around and possibly having United Divinity SCR, and I played myself into the ground pretty much. So I just put one Cunning in. I'll see it. I saw it most of my games actually because I draw so much in this deck. Um,
So
and
you
it's just
mentioned
like that's the only
Energy
reason I'm running it.
Annihilator. This is
Yes,
a good option into Beerus because
it kills energy.
yeah.
so so I played this against that's what I did to him. That's what okay, so the there was another Beerus player I played against where I Golden Avengered again his card back to his hand, his Vegeta 6. And I was able to cheat out my last Kai. I actually got all 4 Kais on the board against
Oh
him, and I
jeez.
hard tap. Yeah, I got all 4 Kais on the board. No, was it all 4 Kais? It was yeah, because it was 3 Kais. No, it was 2 Kais, 3 energy, and then I charged one and I activated again and went to the fourth Kai, and then I tapped 7 and I went into Energy Annihilator. I played it against him. I knocked him down from his 6 energy down to 4, and he looked at his board and he's like, "Oh shit, I can't play Vegeta 6 anymore."
Yeah.
And I just won the game because this card existed. I just went boop. Yeah, you can't play. You can't do what you want to do. So he literally like it just stopped his whole game plan. So that's
Again,
why I played this card
reinforcing the
because
idea of like if you win that ramp battle
you win the game. Pretty much is what happened.
against any blue deck that's not Crimson, I guess.
Yeah,
Crimson's
Crimson's
a different
like
beast.
yeah, Crimson's like a blue deck that's also red because it just like keeps punching you.
Yeah. What do you want to talk about next?
Gohan, Power Reclaimed. So this card is a card that I included. I cut out one Dirty Burst for it, and I cut out what else did I cut out? I cut
Second
out
Avenger.
a goal, yeah, an Avenger for it. Um, so I played it a few times, but and we mentioned it earlier. This thing mostly went in the Z energy. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
Like it was probably 60% in the Z energy, just because the deck sucks at accumulating Z energy. But at least it gets an effect for going in there when you tap one, right? Bounce a 5 or less to the bottom of their deck. But when it is played, you can bottom deck one of their battle cards, which it is a big deal. So like if you have one energy open and they swing with a battle card and they combo some stuff, you can bean tap 3 play. And now your opponent's like, well, I just lost my combo, and that did come up.
Yep. Not to mention if you don't plan on doing that and you still like if you charge one of these or if you Z charge one of these and your opponent sees it, they're gonna
Yeah, they're gonna
be
be scared the
yeah.
whole game.
They're not gonna go in with a battle card that doesn't have barrier.
No, yeah, there was one guy that I played against. I charged one and I Z charged the other one, and he was gonna go in for game with a battle card. He swung, and I didn't have a lot of cards in hand. I could have probably outcome because I had like 2 UI Kamehamehas in my hand. But he went with the battle card and he had a few cards in hand that he was gonna combo. He's like, how much energy do you have up? I'm like, I have 2 energy and a Kai up. He's like, "Ah, you can go on me. I'm like I
It's
can
a
indeed
psych
Gohan
out,
you,
yeah.
and I'm like, yes, I can because it only costs 3 energy. He's like, leave it at 20, and I'm like, okay, and I just out comboed. But it's like the existence of the card, like the existence of Divinity made me lose. The existence of this card made him lose. It's a mind
True.
game.
One thing I noticed watching games during the Zenkai Cup is that Gamma players are maining Meki Kabura now. And they will call Gohan SH8, and that will hit this and your Secret Rare.
Everyone thought I was playing Baby Hatch.
Ah.
No one thought I was playing Beast.
You want to talk about
Move
Tide or
over.
Beast?
We
Or
can talk
the
about Kale
text?
and Beast first.
Okay.
And yeah, the little text here actually. So Kale, I wanted to cut her out. Believe it or not, people are going to be like, "What the hell?" But I wanted to cut her out. The only reason I didn't, she border wipes ignoring barrier. That's the only reason I didn't.
Yeah.
I used to play her at 2, but like I said, I used to play Hatch. But when I finally got a hold of my Beast Gohan, I cut out 1 kill and I put in Beast, and then I cut out the Hatch, and that's what I put in for the Gohan,
Yeah.
the Hatch that I made leave. So I play her at 1 just because she's a board wipe. It comes up. But I mean, I felt like cutting her. I don't think I played her once this weekend.
It is worth noting this is a list constructed for best of one, no pre-side format. So
Oh
you
yeah,
did have
best of
to
one. No,
main deck
she
all your answers.
Yeah, she would be in the side. Cunning would be in the side.
Yeah.
Dirty Burst would be in the side. Like those 3 cards would all be in the side. They wouldn't be main.
What would you main, hypothetically? In a...
If I cut those,
Yeah.
mm,
Maybe a third SGR, maybe a
yeah, third
third
SGR,
UI.
fourth Prospect, and a third UI,
Okay. Good to know.
probably
But yeah,
because Prospect's a 0.5K, so this deck lacks that. Okay, and then we can go to Avenger.
just
I
another
mean,
comment on Kale is like the 7 or more energy that will not count the Kais. So that is
oh yeah, no, the
gonna
guys
have
aren't
to be
real energy.
played after your Vegeta 6.
Yeah, no, I had a few people ask me because they would see 3 Kais and 4 energy. They'd be like, "You can't play Kale right now, right?" I'm like, "No, these are
Yeah.
fake energy.
Those
They're
don't
pseudo."
count.
I'm like, "These are fake energy. They're not real energy. I only have 4 energy.
They're
Kale doesn't work."
imaginary.
That's another reason why I don't like Kale in this deck, because a
Makes
lot of my
sense.
energy is fake energy. It's battle cards that act as energy until I can Vegeta 6. So she's very late game.
Yeah, and I know you were looking at a couple other like 7 cost options for this deck that might be a little cute, but we don't have to go into those right now.
Yeah, no, I mean, they're just funny.
Yeah.
So Golden Avenger.
Speaking of funny, this man built this deck like a month ago just to play this card. It wasn't supposed to
Yeah,
be a
I
good
built.
deck. It was just supposed to be a deck that could play Energy Annihilator efficiently.
Yeah, that was the whole thing. It was just like I like picked up the card. I'm like, this is like one of my favorite artworks on a card. I love SS4. I'm like, what deck can make this work good? That's not a good deck because I don't like playing meta quote unquote decks. So like I have Vegeta SS4 leader that I could have played with this card, but I'm like, nah, I don't want to play that. I'm like, let me play Dende. I want to put out Defiers onto the board, and that was fun.
Yeah. I mean, as
But
long as
yeah,
you're
this
not playing against
slowly.
something with like that plays a rival cooler, you're good.
Yeah, I'm so happy you never played that at locals. That
But
was
yeah,
the one deck I'm like,
let's talk about Avenger.
okay, so Avenger. You played in this deck for the counterplay.
Yeah.
I counterplayed, I want to say like 4 or 5 times this weekend with this card. I countered once. Um,
And
so th-
the key part about the counterplay is that it says instead of being played.
yeah, so it's mostly for Vegeta 6. There are other cards you can hit with it. So the counterplay hits a 7 or less, so it hits Vegeta 6 and any other bomb cards that don't have deflect. But also, if they hit an 8 drop on the board, you can still counterplay with this because its auto removes a card ignoring barrier. It does come up.
Ooh.
So I had someone who played Beast Gohan. 2 people actually. Robert Reitz played it against me, and somebody else played against me. Can't remember the other guy. But I had 2 Beast Gohans played against me, and I Golden Avenged it both times. I still lost to Robert Reitz because he had the bee's knees in his hand. I couldn't do anything against that hand. And the other one, when he Beast Gohan me, I Avenged it back to his hand, and he was like, "Oh man, that's not good," because the Beast Gohan leaves the game when it hits off the board.
Yeah, if it's hit with
So
the auto. True.
that's really good. Um, And then, I mean, obviously everyone knows the counter, negate the counter skill and play this card.
Yep.
That won me the game against the Mass Reboot player. It went to where I had 5 energy. He kept hitting himself, so it was like I can go for game. I had Beast in my hand, so I'm like tap 2, play Beast, wish on my leader, untap 2, draw 2. And then he tried to Kai negate, and I just countered. He's like, yeah, GG, and he left.
He didn't
But
talk to you about the matchup at all afterwards. He didn't extend
um,
his appreciation for the
well,
playstyle of your deck.
listen, I don't expect anyone to. Literally all of you at locals tell me this is the worst deck you've ever played against. I don't expect anyone online to give me respect. I played against somebody, um, I played against somebody in the first Zenkai Cup that at one point put his hand on the table, like his cards on the table, and he put his head in his hands and he went, how much energy in hand, or how much energy and how many cards in hand? Because he had like not a lot of cards. I had like 11 cards and like 7 energy up on defense. Like people don't have fun against that.
You're out here
And I
giving
understand
people
that. Like,
gray
sorry.
hair while they're trying to have a good time.
Yeah, I'm trying to win them. So I'm trying to win with my jank decks.
All right, so what's the reasoning behind Miraculous Transformation? Because it seems you defend pretty well between Rumble, Prospect, Child's Army, D Magic. Do you really need the Miraculous too?
The miraculous is it exists. It's there to exist. Okay, sometimes I play it, and when I do play it, it feels very good because then I get a triple striker. But against decks like Trunks Vegeta, which I did play against a few, very good players, especially the one the last Zenkai Cup I played. Um, I was being kind of a dick towards the end, but that's just we'll leave it there. Um, but no, this card is very good into multiple matchups where you can D-Magic up to 3, tap, play this, or you can tap 3, play this, and then because you have so much energy to mess around with, you can rumble them afterwards and tell them, look, attack this battle card while you're under rumble. Come on,
And the first thing
and then
gets
they end their
blocked by
turn.
Rumble.
Exactly, and then they pass. So yeah, now the real sauce,
The
quote
the
unquote
the
sauce,
the win
the,
condition, the
the
real win condition.
a real win condition is obviously Android 17 turning the tide. Um, everyone's favorite blue card, right? Right? Everyone
Yeah,
loves
I
this
mean,
card.
why else would you ramp in blue in
Whee!
this day and age? Unless you're Beerus, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. No, turning the tide. This card's ridiculous. Every game I played this, I won. Um,
Deflect,
my
so this
yeah,
thing's
deflect can't.
connecting.
Yeah, I don't care what you have. I'm playing this. Um, now my buddy Chris, he kept bringing up. He's like, "What if they leave 2 energy up?" I'm like, "They won't have G. They won't have Jiren. They just won't have it, right?" I mean, everybody was leaving 2 energy up, and they never had it.
So
That's all
I
I'm gonna say.
think as much of a threat as this deck is, we're in a format where the blue decks you're worrying about are Crimson and Beerus, and Beerus isn't winning with Tide 90% of the
No,
time. They're
neither of
winning
those that
with
play Tide exactly.
16. So
Exactly. They don't play Tide. So, no. So the combo with this deck, if we want to go over it, is we. So the kill card combo. Um, do we want to do this? Oh no, let's go over the Z deck first.
okay,
Go over the Z deck. That'll be short. So the Z deck, it's pretty standard. 2 cell, eats 5 or less is on the board. Is like basically a dual attack critical. Can get triple strike. Doesn't really ever get it though. Um, you got the Vegeta. Obviously, take a life, draw 1
fix your
for
hand
bottom
in a
deck.
bad spot.
Yeah, and sometimes you need to get to 3 life for the Z leader.
True.
Oh, the Z leader. Oh, we'll go over this last actually. Next one was the Vegito. I did not play this once. It cost too much Z energy. I'll be quite honest. If I play this, I can't play my Z leader, so I never played this.
Makes sense.
Um, Beerus. I played him the most this weekend and the last weekend. And by the most, I mean I played him like once or twice. Like I barely go into the Z deck except for the Z
I
leader.
mean, he's
But this
Blue's
is really
best Z
good.
card right now. Let's be real.
Exactly. He's basically for 4 energy. He's a triple attacker that goes 15, 20, 25. So he just keeps gaining on swings, can hit stuff bigger than their energy, which a lot of decks play stuff for bigger than their energy. And when he restands on the activate main, he gets rid of a card ignoring barrier. So if they have something on the board that they're trying to keep around, like I don't know, let's say it's a D magic bullet, which I don't really even care about those if I'm being honest. Um, or something just that just has barrier, just get rid of it.
Pretty
Um,
nice.
so yeah, he was the one that I played the most, other than the Z leader. Now the Z leader, this is what we talked about at the beginning, where we mitigate the flip with my leader.
So
So You wish, untap 2, draw 2, and then flip this card over at the end of your turn. So what you do is you untap 2, draw 2, and then you Z Awaken for 1,
So you're not
and
this
now you
card
don't flip.
anymore, so you don't have to flip
Exactly.
over. Ah,
You don't
okay.
exactly. You don't flip. And now you have a base 20 double strike critical that is a negate on legs on an auto skill, so they can't Golden Avenger this if it comes to that. And when this card attacks, you draw 1 card and get plus 1k for every card in your energy and Z energy. And typically you'll have about 7 to 10 cards in your energy by the time you Z Awaken. So he's getting pretty beefy.
That's pretty good. So you have a critical double strike here, and you have a critical attacker in 17. Are
Yep,
you
and
are
then
you just taking their hand away and never letting them see a card afterwards?
yeah, pretty much. That's the unfun part about this
Hey,
deck.
as
And
a
then we can
green
go over the
player, I love that from you.
and then we can go into the Beast Gohan. So everyone should know this card if you play blue, but we'll go over it. Auto when this card is played, you choose every one of your opponent's cards that's a battle or unison, ignoring barrier, return them to their hand, and if your opponent has two or more it has more cards in their hand than you do, place some cards from your opponent's life at the bottom of their deck. So you get to crit a life for free. Whee!
Has it ever come up where they have less cards in hand than you?
Never.
Okay.
Because you can hand them correctly
Okay.
the previous turn on defense, and then you put it to the point where they're going to have. Plus, you're putting cards from their field into their hand, so it's
Makes
never come
sense.
up where I couldn't crit a life. Um, the activate main battle here. Once per turn, choose up to 2 of your cards. Cards can be energy, can be battle, can be leader, can be anything. Switch into active mode. If this card was switched, it gains crit for the turn. And then activate main for 2. If you have 3 or more energy, you place 2 cards from your hand at the bottom of your deck, so you're killing 2 in your hand as well when you play this card, and then you just play it from your hand. This card's stupid in tandem with turning the tide. So every single game I won was off the combo. And the combo's easy to see because you draw so many cards.
Yeah,
You
you're
draw through basically
filtering.
your whole deck.
So let's do a little math here. You're 60 cards minus 7 for the Dragon Balls.
Minus 4 to 6 for the burst off leader. Now, you might also ask now, well, what happens if you burst your SER? I've bursted my SER. I don't care. I'll Kale Tide you. That's why Kale's still in here.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and play Cell Z card if I need to, and then tide you. I'll play Goku Energy Annihilator and then burn slow game. I'll counter with Golden Avenger and then punch your face. Like, there's other ways to win in this deck. You can even go Vegeta Z card if you
So
need to.
you
That's why it's
really
in there.
only need the Tide and the Z leader to put them from like
Yeah, like
6 to 3 or like 5 to 2 or something.
yeah, exactly. Like I bursted the SCR one game and I just still won. It was like it's not a big
Yeah,
deal
I
if you
mean
burst it, you know.
if you hit the Tide when they're at 5, swing Tide, swing Z leader, and then you have a Boo on board, you just win the game.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I don't care. So no, it's yeah. Like one of my opponents when I was playing, he saw me burst the beast on it and a super combo, and he was like, "Oh, looks like I don't have to worry about those." And I'm like, "It's fine. I don't need them." You know, I literally said, I feel like an asshole saying that, but I did say it. I'm like, "It's fine. I don't need them. I trust my deck to win with the cards it has left." You know.
Hey, that's
So
nice. That means it's a good deck.
yeah. So the really degenerate thing about this deck is its ability to take you from 8 to 0 without giving you a single card to hand.
And how would
So,
you do that?
do you want me to cut the camera on so you can see it physically because it's a lot
Let's
easier to
do it.
understand with the physical cards. Okay, here. My desk is a little bit of a mess, but it's fine. On camera. Here we go. So, uh you just need the beast and the tide and the leader. There's the Z leader, the beautiful metal Z leader from Davidson, if I'm not mistaken. But we'll put the real one here. So your board is typically, we'll say, at this point, you typically have like maybe 6 energy and like 2 Kais on the board, right?
Okay.
So you'll tap 2 and you'll play the beast. You'll have less cards in your hand than your opponent, so you put everything back in their hand. Imagine we're playing against Beerus. They don't rip themselves, right? So they're gonna go to 7 life now.
So
Then
this is without even playing a Vegeta 6. You can do this.
yeah, I can do this without playing a Vegeta 6 if you know the
Okay.
game if I don't get the chance to. Um, so I play this. I crit them a life for playing the beast. Let me turn my ceiling light off. It causes glare. There we go. So I play the beast, crit them a life for this. So now
Down to
they're going
7.
from 8 to 7. Then I would wish on my leader. So I would untap 2. Here, let me actually get some Majin Defiers. Put them on the board right quick. Because typically I'll have like, we'll pretend I only have 2, right?
Yeah.
So, because decks play Black Smoke, so they've been getting rid of these, but I don't really care about that card. I
Mm-hmm.
typically only keep 2 on the field. So then we'll wish, untap 2, draw 2. Doesn't really matter what I add to my hand, because now I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Tap 7. And now that I put everything back on your hand, I'm going to take it all away again. So now you lost everything in your hand. So then
Fun
we'll
and
typically have the
interactive.
2Z energy. Exactly. Fun and interactive card game, right?
Yep.
And now we'll typically have 2Z energy because, like I said, I shotgun my super combos.
Yeah.
So we'll have the energy because I shotgun it. So we'll tap the last energy here, and we'll Z Awaken. Now this board state, you lose the game. You literally lose the game.
So
I swing
you're
double
at
crit.
7 life because
You're
of
at you're
these
at 7
three
life.
cards. Because of these 3 cards, you can 7 to 0 somebody.
Yeah. So I go swing, draw. Don't care what I draw. I have no energy.
Yep.
If I draw 5K, so be it. But this one right now with this board state, I'll be at 26K. Right.
So even
So
if they're like
I'm at
a Sensu Bean Z leader, they're still taking that damage.
exactly right.
Yeah.
So this matters because it came up with a Crimson player where I swung at one point when I had 9 energy and 1 Z energy, so I went to 30K and he couldn't get out of 30K
Oh.
because I
Even
think
with
he
the
did
ones
something
from
like
underneath. Yeah. Double
he
Videl
comboed
or
all the
something.
ones underneath. Yeah, he comboed all the ones underneath, which like gave him 10K, so he went to 25. Drew one, drew a 5K, and couldn't out combo.
Oof.
So and then so this is double crit. You're down to 5.
Yep.
You swing beast, restand these 2. You don't restand energy in this deck. This now crit. They're down to 4. You're swinging this. They're down to 2. You draw another one. So you do have 2 cards in your hand to work with. You swing with this. They're down to 1. You swing with this. They're dead.
And this is after you've wiped their board, their unison, and their hand.
And their hand. They've lost everything they know and love.
They
And I've
have
crit them for
no
8
chance
life.
to respond unless their leader says once per game for free negate an attack.
No, I don't even think Janemba can do that because they have
Nah,
to discard a card
nothing.
for it, don't they?
Every leader that needs to do that needs to discard a card. Or that wants to do that.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's like this can 8 to 0. And in the off chance, the big off chance that I didn't crit a life off this, I'll typically have another card on the board, like a Ready to Rumble from
I
earlier
mean,
or
if
something.
you have a
You know what I mean?
Bunison on board, which you have most
Or
of the
Bonus.
time, like that
Yeah.
does the last 2 damage more often
Yeah,
than
exactly.
not.
So it's like it doesn't matter because the fact that this combo, even if I don't get the Beast Hoff, I can 7 to 0 you. That's disgusting. And almost all leaders, I gave Beers as an example because Beers doesn't self rip.
Yeah.
But almost all leaders nowadays self rip to 6.
At
So
least 6, if
yeah,
not
exactly.
lower.
At least 6, if not lower, which did come up because people would self rip to 6. Now I'd be like, okay, cool. I don't even need to play the Z leader sometimes because of that. Because let's say I don't have the extra energy available. Let's say I only have the 7 energy, right? Not the 8th energy to play this.
Yeah.
They're at 6 life. I play Beast, crit a life. I play Tide. They're at 5 life now. I go crit, swing, restand, crit. That's 4, 3. No, I'm sorry, I did that wrong. So they were at, let's say they went to 6, then 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
It's
So 6
amazing.
to 0,
It's
6 to 0
amazing.
without the Z leader.
And
So
if they're at
that's
6, they probably haven't even had a chance to like Z Awaken or do anything fancy.
no, and so the one Gotenks player I played against, in the first Zenkai Cup, he, that whole game, I didn't let him get more than 1 Z energy.
Now that
So
just
he couldn't
sounds
do anything.
rude.
Yeah, I play tested as well against you know Diego. I played against Diego a lot when he was playing SS4 because it's like his child. He doesn't get off that deck unless he's playing another Gogeta deck. But I played against him and like there were games where he had no Z energy. There was a game. Do you have a picture? We have a picture in the group chat of a game where I had like 14 energy and he had 2.
Yeah,
That's back when
the deck does
that,
things.
that's back when I just spammed energy annihilator and I just like put it. I think I put it out while he was at 3 energy
I mean,
and he couldn't do anything.
I'm the furthest thing from a salty player in this game. I straight up told Alex I would not play against this deck outside of like locals or a competitive setting.
No, I don't blame you. This deck's degenerate. I can tell you with a without a shadow of a doubt, this is the most degenerate piece of shit I've ever built. And I built it for fun. Like I said, I want to play Energy Annihilator, and then it turned into this. Um,
Amazing.
but no, yeah, there was one game where I was very scared because I was playing against a 16 player who held his awaken until like his turn 6. Like he
Oh,
was at 6 energy and he hadn't awakened, and he was at 7 life. I'm like, I can't do this because then he's gonna awaken and take a life and draw one and untap one during my turn that I want to kill him. So
that's too
it
much.
just happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's too much for me with no cards in hand. And that might sound like, oh, he has 2 cards to all this swings, but that could be a lot. He could get a token
Yeah.
negate.
One token
He could get
negate
a D
messes up your
magic.
whole plan.
Exactly. He could get a D magic. He could get a lot of shit. He could get a free 10k combo that he could throw in the drop. He could get a lot of shit. So no, if he's watching this video, your misplay was awakening because he swung with his leader, or no, he swung with a card and he went leader free combo. I'm like, you haven't awakened yet. He's like, oh, why haven't I awakened? I'm like, you just haven't awakened yet. He's like, okay, awaken. I'm like, and next turn I beast tided him. So
That's all she wrote.
yeah, it's just beast tide is gross. I listen, if you played against me and you did not have a good time, I'm sorry, because I understand what this deck is, and this deck's not fun.
And on that note, thank y'all for tuning in. This has been Alex from BSA. Shout out Vegeta Saiyan Army. Shout out Davidson. Shout out the gang.
And TCG medals.
And TCG medals. All the homies. Shout out the VSA SoFlo crew. All the homies we test with. All the boys at locals. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Like, subscribe if you like the content. We're gonna have Dragon Ball content on the channel posted weekly. And yeah. Thank you for sharing your thoughts on your list. And do you want to close out by just going over your matchups real quick if you still have them listed somewhere?
Um,
Or do you
I think
not?
I do.
Okay.
One second. I think I have them listed. One second. Where's my phone? I texted Chris, I think, with my matchups. Where'd my phone go? Um,
Round 1 was
Gee.
16. Round 2
Let
was
me go.
Mastery
Yeah, let me go into
Gate.
the messages here. One second. Yeah, so I texted you the first Senkai Cup, didn't I?
Yeah.
I think I did. So I like to keep track of my stuff for the next day so I can remember. Here we go. Round 1 was Trunks Vegeta in that first game. Oh, round 1 of the first Zenkai Cup. I played against Trunks Vegeta. I won against that deck because I energy annihilated him while he was at 3 energy. He couldn't play the game. Um no, I energy annihilated him while he was at 4, and then the
Put him
next turn
down
he
to 2.
charged. I put him down to 2. He charged up to 3. I went ready to rumble. I said, or no, I went baby hatch. I'm like, do you want to counter? And he's like, dude, if I counter, I can't play. I'm like, yeah, pretty much. That's a position I put him in, and then I just won. Then I played against Garlic Jr. Shout out to the legend playing Garlic Jr. I
Oh,
won that
wow.
game. That game was kind of rough because he had an indestructible guy I couldn't get rid of with my Beerus Realms. That was kind of annoying. Then Beerus Ramp, I won that game because again I energy annihilated him. Go Tanks, I won because I kept negating every attack known to man. He never got Z energy,
Pretty
and I
good.
kept that's the game where I was aggressively Beerus roaming all his stuff away. Um, and then I lost to Robert Reitz, Crimson Goku. He beasted me on his turn 3. I lost all my Kais. I couldn't
Yeah,
do
hard to
anything.
recover from that.
Yeah. Lost to Beerus Ramp when Legends was playing it in round 6. Um, that one was because I played myself. He even said it after the game. He's like, when I kill tided him, he's like, why didn't you play Energy Annihilator? I'm like, because you could have Divinity and you could play the 4th
Hey,
Energy
sometimes
Ramper from your
you
Z
are
deck.
your own biggest enemy sometimes.
Yeah, he literally said, "Oh yeah, but I don't play Divinity." I'm like, well, and then round 7, I played against Crimson. I apologize to that Crimson player. He did not have a good time. And then round 8, I played against another Crimson player, which I lost to. That was a very close game though. Um, then
So what
I
was your final
played
placement in the first Zenkai Cup?
23rd. I just missed
23rd
the pie
in
chart,
a
I believe.
field of how many? What's that one? It was like one.
160 something, I think.
Okay.
It was
23
something like that.
out of like over 150. And then the
Yeah,
next
something like
one
that.
was around
It was
64,
65
right?
players.
64,
It
65?
was
Okay.
it was 65 players because um for some reason apparently they didn't advertise it correctly. Apparently I saw it and I remembered it. I mean,
I
when
think
they
it's just
posted on the
like a
main
TO people aren't familiar with, and they were probably posting on their Facebook page, which
oh,
not enough
I mean it was
people
posted
followed or something. They
it was
posted. I
posted on
did
the
see a
official.
yeah. Posted. They posted on the official page, but Dragon Ball players, we don't read anything. Yeah, posted it
That's
like
true.
6 times.
Well, if for all of you watching, remember there's another one in 2 weeks that has the same pricing,
No, I
so
think
sign
that's
up for
an
that one.
in-person one, or is it
Oh, is it
online?
an in-person one? I
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
think it's the same TO, but they're doing an in-person one. I don't know if it's
Oh,
if
okay.
it's online. Go check
Whatever.
that out for sure.
Then then the next one, so the one we just played against 16 round one. Um, it ended with Beast Tide.
Okay.
Um, Master Reboot round two. That one was a lot rougher, but once I put Bunison on the board, like I said, Black Decks don't really have an answer to Bunison. He pretty much knew he couldn't kill me that turn, so he kept swinging at my Kai, and I kept like protecting it. And then I went to 5 energy. I played Beast and put him to 3, and then I swung at his leader, and he tried. I wished, and then he tried to counter, and I countered with Avenger, and that was the game. Round three was against Gamma. So this was the game that Chris would always like warn me about. He's like, well, what happens if you're playing against a person who just has black smoke, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I don't care because they're gonna black smoke my card every turn, and they're not gonna do anything on their turn, which is exactly what happened.
Okay.
So he black smoked me on his turn two, got rid of one of my two Kais. The next turn I played another Kai. He black smoked it the next turn again, and then the next turn I played another Kai, and then I Vegeta sixed him. And then he went, shit, I can't do anything now because I have too much energy.
Yeah, I think
So
Black Smoke is better at dealing with like unisons or like if it's a card like Slug, but a little Kai. You spending
yeah,
two
no, because
energy on a little Kai.
exactly. So he kept spending the two energy, and he just wasn't swinging at me. So I'm just like, I don't care. Go ahead. I'll keep playing more Kais because I had some in my hand. I had assembling the squads. So assembling the squad's stupid. It's just a free energy.
Yeah.
So that card was dumb. But that game I won because Beast tied. Um,
Yeah.
and then I played against Trunks Jita. He played it very well. Again, I'll apologize to the opponent because I was acting like an asshole that game. I am sorry, my good sir. Uh, I will learn from my foolishness and not be like that against anyone else. And then round five, I played against another 16 player. That was the one that was holding his awakening. I had a lot of trouble against him because he kept holding his awakening. Oh, did I tell you my favorite thing about playing 16? I loved it when they bionic blitzed me.
Oh,
They would
Bionic
blitz
Blitz
me,
is
and I
so
would.
good against this deck. I mean, so
They
good
would.
for this deck, rather.
They would bionic blitz me, and I would bot against my Kai, and I would be like, okay, assembling the squad, free play my Kai.
Yeah,
So it's
that's
just like
nice.
I think I got blitzed like 3 times, and I bottom decked a Kai twice. I'm
Do
just like,
you
I don't care. And then
think it's worth looking into if there's any blue cards that maybe like allow you to put cards at the bottom of your deck? Or
I mean, we could probably find some stuff. I mean, that's why I play this Vegeta Super Combo because of bottom deck stuff. I don't play any other one because this one bottom decks. It's not even the draw two; it's the bottom deck. And then round six, I played against Red Yellow Baby, bro. I sat down, I saw the leader, I'm like, shit, this is
yeah,
a good
that
player if he's up at this table right now. I lost Dyro, and I'm like, shit.
that deck is a scary, scary
He
force.
he put me to two on my turn one. I had to wish on my turn two, and then
Yeah.
yeah, I couldn't Z awaken, so I was at 10k, and then I forgot that leader's effing yellow, so I tapped for Rumble and he countered me and I lost the game. But even if I
Damn.
didn't do that, I didn't have enough to live.
Yeah,
Like I didn't have enough to
that's rough.
live even
I
if I
mean,
did that.
yellow is kind of the counter to blue, if you think about it. Yellow,
I mean, they have a good matchup into each other, but yeah, yellow has tends to have a good matchup because cooler exists.
yeah.
Um, honestly, I think cooler needs to stay existing, just because blue is so good right now, which hurts me to say because I hate that card. Um,
Cooler's
I
healthy,
think
Bunison's healthy, Avenger's healthy.
the only
Vegeta
two
6 is
cards,
not healthy.
or sorry, we'll say three cards in this deck that aren't healthy. Vegeta six for sure. Um, with no God Seal in the format,
Do not
having
talk about my boy.
having what? How many counters hit this card? Like general counters hit hit Vegeta 6. It's Golden Avenger.
Royal
It's
Condemnation, which is going to be relevant
well,
next
yes,
format.
it's going to be relevant next format. So that's why I don't think they're going to hit this card because they're just making Invoker good again.
I agree.
So Royal Condemnation and Final Heat Fouling. So they have up to 8 answers for this card in Invoker. So that's good. But I mean like general stuff. Then they have Super 17 SCR, which is like that's an SCR you have to not play Gohan Piccolo. That's a
Nobody's
whole thing
doing
in
that.
itself. They have Death Blaster, Frost Deadly Poison, and um Cold Bloodless. Cold Bloodless is leader locked, and the other 3 are all yellow. So it's like, what is red gonna do? What is black gonna do? What is green gonna do?
Yeah,
Like,
there's
black's
nothing.
only answer is Unexpected Turn, but that card's so easy to play around in this deck, it's stupid. The other card is Turning the Tide. I think it's fine though, personally. I mean, I know I'm a degenerate for even saying that, but I personally feel like
In
kill
a
cards are
world
necessary in the game.
where it's hard to play Vegeta 6, do you think Tide can exist comfortably?
Yeah, I mean the issue is, Vegeta sixing into Tide the next turn. That's the gross part. I think Vegeta 6 is like
I also don't think Tide is the issue in the
in
Beerus
the
deck.
overall format
So
because
this is going to
Beerus
be
doesn't play it.
addressed, if anything.
Beerus, yeah, Beerus spams the Vegeta, not the Tide, and other decks spam Vegeta, not Tide. Like Bojack will play Vegeta, not really Tide. I mean, they can play Tide because they play from their energy. Um, it's just I think Tide is fine personally. I get rid of my own hand. Every deck can play Jiren, so
Rewarding players for getting to 7 energy is a good thing.
yeah, it's like there needs to be kill cards,
Hmm.
and there's an answer to it. There's Jiren. It's not
Not
like
to mention when Beast Gohan is out here
I hate this card. This
dropping
card, this
dropping
card's
people to
insane.
2 life on 3 on turn 3, like,
Dude, this card's stupid. This is the card that needs addressed. It's an SCR. It's never going to get addressed. I know that. But this card is absolutely absurd if you have 3 or
you
more
know how
energy.
they address SCRs? They power creep them.
Yeah, I know. It's dumb. But no, this card's like absurd.
Worth the
This
price
card
tag
and
in
it,
your opinion?
yes, luckily I had cards to like sell and make up for that money, so I didn't actually pay that much. I paid like 50 or $80 out of pocket for it.
Awesome.
But um no, that card's the problem card. Like that card telling your opponent your everything is gone,
And then
everything
restanding
back to
your
your
Z
hand, and then
leader.
yeah, and then restanding in this deck. That's the degenerate thing is Beast
Yeah.
with the Z leader because that in itself is 6 critical hits,
Yeah, that's
and
obnoxious.
and
And
the Z
time.
leader stacks his buff. The Z leader stacks his buff, by the way. That's not for the battle.
Oh, wow. It gains the power for the turn.
Yeah. So
They
and it
definitely
draws
thought about that.
probably yeah.
Because this
Um
came out at 1 set after the Z leader, so they had to have
yeah,
thought about
and
that interaction.
this SCR is absurd. Like there was no reason to print an SCR this good. Like seriously, I don't know why this thing was printed. This card itself wins games. Like like against Robert Reitz, he's a great player. I lost to him. Pure respect to him for playing the decks he plays and everything he does. But it's just like if he didn't see this card, I won that game. And I
Yeah.
even showed him my hand. He didn't flat out say it, but he didn't say he didn't win the game because I was like, I was gonna rumble you, then I was gonna play Vegeta 6, then I was gonna rumble you, and then I was gonna Kale Tide you. But this card just saying your whole board is gone. In this deck, it
Do
kind of
you
hurts when you
think
lose all your guys.
do you think if Rumble doesn't exist, this deck is still viable?
I it's rough without Rumble, I can tell you that much.
Because I do believe we're gonna be seeing a lot more of the let the battle begin counterplay next format.
Yeah, so yeah, because they released the 21 and 18 leaders, so let the battle begin. So the thing is, this card already has a good amount of answers.
Yeah,
Green has Dark Deathball, which I had been telling people for
I
so
love
many
that card.
formats is such a good. Like I even told Frank that card was good when he was playing his decks. He's like, I'm not pitching 2 for it. I'm like, who gives a shit if you're pitching 2, but you're killing your opponent?
Yeah, if
That
this is
doesn't
what they
matter.
were banking on to live that turn
Exactly.
and you answer it, then Golden
My
Frieza is
favorite
hitting
thing.
twice.
No, yeah, my favorite thing was playing against Frank one game when I was playing Videl and he was playing SS4 Vegeta, and I
Then
swung at him and I go
you
and I
dark
go
that
and
ball
I
him.
go I go, what are you gonna? I'm like, are you gonna ready to rumble? He's like, I have to play around that stupid dark death ball, and I just laughed. It's like
It's
the
not
cards,
stupid if you have to play
like
around it.
exactly, and like there's other ones like blue has the god slicing, which hits it. People don't play that card though. I don't know why. I don't know
True.
why I'm not playing it. I probably actually would
True.
main that if I took out some other stuff. Um, but no, dark god slicing's good. There's other answers to the card. Let the battle begin's a good card. But it's because it's a 4 cost and it's a 20k that a lot of other cards don't hit it. Like the other free one peel off missile for red doesn't hit it because that hits a 15k or less. But Rumble
Ah.
definitely is like the part of this deck that lets me live the most.
It's the
Because
crutch that everything else rests on.
yeah, because honestly, if I rumble somebody, they're not gonna keep swinging. And if
Mm-hmm.
they do, they lose the game. Because I had
And
that
being able to do that turn 2, turn 3, like nobody wants to lose advantage that early before they can even
no,
generate
because they
anything.
because as a player, if I rumble you while you have 2 energy or 3 energy, if you lose even 1 energy, I win the game.
Yeah, that sets them so far back.
Like there's only been one game where I rumbled somebody. No, I didn't even rumble him. I got countered. It was Kai of Time. Julian countered me for that one. Um, I lost to Prospect on that one, which was sad. But everything's big in that deck. No, this deck is it's fine. I mean, the only things I would like if Vegeta 6 left too, I think the deck could even function without Vegeta 6. I've told
It
Chris
would
this
just
multiple
become a
times.
turtle.
Yeah, just like literally, you would just turtle. You would play Kai's, and then when you get to 7 energy, you don't care about the Z Awaken because so many leaders rip to 6 that you get to 7 energy. You tap two for Beast. You bounce their whole board. Wish untap, tap 7 Tide, kill them.
Yeah.
It's like I can turtle till I have 4 energy and 3 Kai's. That's fine. But the issue is also this deck doesn't really matter if it exists because it's not going to exist next format.
Well, you
Uh,
heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. The deck is fine.
yeah. I mean, the only thing I'm worried about next format is the new 21 leader. Your Kai's, my Kai's.
Yeah. Well, let's wrap it up there. Thank you for sharing your thoughts, and see y'all next time. Peace.
Yeah. See ya.